Hey students, let's go ahead and continue our first semester. This is your book, English ID by Richmond. The author is Paul Salison. And remember, it's the second edition. Your book is 3A and your level is B1A. And let's get started. We are talking about relationships, personal information. And when we talk about meeting people, we generally think of some questions, personal questions, right? And here we have some questions that you can ask someone to get to know quickly. Do you have any nicknames? Are you usually more optimistic or pessimistic? What's the first thing you notice when meeting someone new? Where are you and your family from? What are the three most important objects you have at home? Why are they important to you? Choose three famous people, one to have dinner with, one you'd go on vacation with, and one you'd send to Mars. What did you want to be when you were a kid? And which sports team do you and your family support? So, we're talking about life experiences, and we also talk about our personal opinion, what we think about something. So this is about personal information. Let's go ahead. As this unit, we are talking about relationships, meeting people. So social activities are a really great way to make new friends. Now you're going to listen to a conversation between Carlos and Mika, and they're talking about meeting people. Let's check which places they're talking about that are a good location to meet people, to make new friends. Let's listen.
How's it going? Settling into your new home? How is the new job?
It's going okay, thanks. I've met a few new people through work, but it'll be nice to make some more friends.
Of course. I'm sure you'll start meeting people soon. It's early days. Got any plans for tonight?
Yep, I'm going on a meetup. It's the first one I've ever been on, actually.
You're going on a what?
You know, a meetup. It's like a social group for people who want to make new friends and network, that kind of thing. I've organized it through an app. You download the app or go on the website, register, and write a profile about yourself. Upload pictures and stuff. The app then matches you with people who you've got things in common with. Then you go on meetups. It could be a restaurant, museum, sports activity, anything.
Oh, I see. I haven't heard about that. It sounds like a great idea, though, especially when you're new in town. So, what happens when you've registered and been matched with people?
Well, then you can chat online and get to know people a bit there first. Then you choose a meetup to go to. I've met some nice people online so far. I guess I'll see how the meeting up part goes. We're going on an organized walk on Sunday, and the organizers encourage you to prepare some questions to ask to help get to know people.
Really? Like an interview. So, what kind of people are you hoping to meet then?
I'm just hoping to make some new friends who are into the same things as me and can show me around the city a bit. It would be good to meet some new work contacts, too. Networking is always good.
Really? So, you're going on this meetup to make work contacts?
No, not really. You know, I just want to meet some cool people, and if I meet someone who can help with business, that's a bonus.
Always thinking about work, aren't you?
Well, sure, that's why I moved here. But I'm ready to make some new friends, too. What's going on with your college course?
So let's imagine the situation that you have moved to a new town. What are some of the five ways that you could meet new people? Remember the conversation? Do they mention ideas similar to yours? Pay attention to the example. I don't know, maybe join a sports club or take a course. Is this your idea too? So here are the answers. The ways and the places mentioned in the conversation. Meet up, an app, a website, a restaurant, a museum, a sports activity, an organized walk, and networking. So which of these ways do you think is the most interesting to meet people, to make new friends? Do you have a favorite one? Let's do this exercise. Tell me about if they are true or false. Carlos has just started a new job. Mika has been to meetups before. You need to create a profile first. Profile means profile, right? 4. Carlos is meeting some new friends at a restaurant. And the last one, number 5, Carlos is looking for old friends as well as new ones. So which of these sentences are the true and which ones are the false ones? Let's check. Here are the answers. Number 1, it is true. Carlos has just started a new job. Number 2, it's false. She has never been to meetups before. Meetup, it is an encounter, right? Number 3, it is true. You need to create a profile first before meeting up people. You have to write about yourself. Describe your personality traits, right? Qualities that you have. Answer some questions. This is to create a profile first. Like when you create a Facebook profile, you see? So it is true. Number 4, according to the conversation, Carlos is meeting some new friends at a restaurant. No, this is false. And Carlos is looking for old friends as well as new ones. Not really, it is false too, right? So number 1, true. Number 2, false. Number 3, true. Number 4 and 5, false. All right? Now you're gonna listen to part 1 of a conversation Carlos has at the meetup, right? Carlos is already there, and here are the questions. You have to pay attention to the answers, right? Number 1, has Carlos met Jenny before? Number 2, has Jenny been to a meetup before? Number 3, did Carlos prepare a list of questions? 4, you're going to circle the 3 words that best describe Jenny. So which of these qualities you're going to describe Jenny? Is she confident, funny, honest, impolite, shy? So these words describe a personality of a person, right? And you're going to pay attention to Jenny's personality and choose 3 words that best describe her, right? And the last one, number 5, do you think Carlos and Jenny are gonna be friends? So let's listen to the conversation.
Hi, I'm Carlos. It's really nice to meet you. You are...
Hi, Carlos. I'm Jenny. We chatted online a bit. Great to meet you in person.
Oh, yes, we did chat online, didn't we? I remember now.
So, have you been to one of these things before? I remember you said you were new in town.
No, I haven't. I've just moved here recently, so this is the first one. I'm feeling a bit nervous, to be honest.
Don't worry. It's only natural. It can be a bit scary meeting lots of new people at once, can't it?
It really can be. So how...
Shall we have a look at our questions? Did you prepare some? That will give us something to talk about while we walk.
Ah, yes. Good idea. I did prepare some.
Great. I've still got mine, too. I bring them to every meetup I come to. It might seem a bit strange, but it's a really good way to get to know someone.
Okay then, why don't you go first?
So let's check the answers. Has Carlos met Jenny before? The answer is only online, not in person. It's the first time they have met before, right? Number 2, has Jenny been to a meetup before? Yes, and she also mentions about some questions she gets every time she goes to a meetup, right? Number 3, did Carlos prepare a list of questions? Yeah, but he asked her to start asking the questions, right? And number 4, which of these 3 words that best describe Jenny according to the conversation? We had honest, confident, and funny. She was not impolite and she wasn't shy at all, right? She was very spontaneous. And number 5, do you think Carlos and Jenny are going to be friends? Yeah, they seem to be very comfortable and happy talking, right? Take a look at some Jenny's comments about the meetup group. She talks about using different verb tenses, right? Pay attention to the verb tenses she uses. And let's check number 1. I'm enjoying meeting lots of new interesting people. 2. I have lots of new friends. 3. I've been a member for around a year now. 4. I'm going on an organized walk with some new members tomorrow. 5. I go to meetup events about once a month. So let's check the verb tenses before. Number 1, I'm enjoying. We're talking about present continuous tense to describe a situation that is happening in the moment, right? The person is saying, I'm enjoying. So when you say, I'm reading a book now, you're doing the activity in this moment. We use the subject, I, plus the verb to be in the present, I am contraction form, I'm, the verb in the ing form, enjoying, right? In number 2, I have lots of new friends. The verb tense is simple, present. When you talk about affect in the present moment, or when you talk about routine, right? So you say, I have. Number 3, we use the verb have, but together with another verb in the past participle. We say, I've been. Been is the past participle of the verb to be. So when do we use present perfect tense? We use it to talk about a situation in the past that can continue up to the present moment, or that you don't mention when it happened. You don't mention the time of the action. Just the action is more important, right? In number 4, when I say I'm going on an organized walk with some new members tomorrow, you're talking about the future using going, right? And number 5, I go to meetup events. Again, you're talking about the use of the verb in the simple present tense, but here talking about routine. Once a month you do that. So every time, once a month, you do the same thing. It's your routine, habits. We use simple present tense, right? So just to remember, simple present, is it a habit or a state? Present continuous, is it an activity happening around now or a future arrangement or plan? And present perfect, we use it for an unfinished action that started in the past and continues to the present moment. Remember that? So let's remember the exercise with the balloons. Which ones? from numbers 1 to 5 represent a simple present tense as a habit or a state. Let's check the answers. And the present continuous. Which of the actions represent an activity happening now in the moment or indicating the future? We can use the present continuous to talk about an action that is happening now or that is happening in the future. And the present perfect when you describe a situation that is not finished, that continues up to the present moment, right? So let's check your answers. Here we have for simple present tense, number 5, a habit, and number 2, a state. Let's check, let's remember. So we have number 5 and number 2, simple present. So number 5, I go, and number 2, I have. Number 5, it's a habit, it's the routine. I go once a month. And number 2, it is a fact, right? That's it. Number 2 is a state, a fact in the present. Number 5 is a habit, all right? Going ahead, we have in present continuous tense, number 1 for an activity in the moment and 4 indicating the future. Let's check. Number 1, I'm enjoying now, in this moment. And number 4, I'm going tomorrow, indicating the future. Both you are using the present continuous tense, the gerund, verb to be plus the verb in the ing, right? And the last one, present perfect tense, it is number 3, the duration of the present state that continues up to the present moment. Let's check. So I say, I've been a member for around a year now. So I was a member in the past and I continue being a member up to the present moment, right? Did you get it? So this is it. Revealing present tense. Simple present. Remember, for the persons I, you, we, and they, we don't change the verb. We say hang out on weekend. But for he, she, it, remember this from book 2A? I add s for most of the verbs for he, she, it, the third person singular, right? And remember that we use the present tense to describe the habits, the routine. You do that on the weekend. You do that twice a week, right? So we use the simple present for habits and states. Johan and Melina usually meet for dinner once a month. She often texts during dinner. It annoys her boyfriend. I hate going to parties by myself. I always take a friend. Note, adverbs of frequency come before the verb. So I say, she often texts, right? Usually meets. I say, I always take, right? What about the present continuous tense? Remember that we use it for actions in progress that is happening now in the moment or future arrangement that is going to happen in the future, right? Pay attention to the examples. What are you doing here? Where is he going? Use the present continuous for actions in progress. Example, I'm chatting to my mom. That is in the moment, right? Or indicating the future arrangement, I say, she isn't coming tonight. Tonight, future. Note, do not use stated verbs in the present continuous. Example, do you understand me? Not. Are you understanding me? Right? So stated verbs like understand, like, love, I don't use in the present continuous tense, right? And the present perfect tense, let's remember, I use it to talk about a situation that happened in the past and continues up to the present moment. Pay attention that the auxiliary verb that I use in present perfect tense is the verb have for he, she, it, has. So I say, I have hung out there before. Or I can use the contraction, I've gone there before, right? For the negative, you just flip it's not, or you can say that in contracted form, haven't. So you say, I have not gone there before, or I haven't gone there before. For he, she, it, you can say, he has spent time with him, or contraction, he has spent time with him. Remember that his is the contraction of he has, not he is, right? In the negative, just place not. You say has not or hasn't. So I say, she hasn't been here, or it hasn't been too hot today. Alright? The form, you use the verb have or has plus the past participle and the irregular participles that we're going to take a look in the list here on page 158 and 159. So remember, we use the present perfect tense for past experience without a specific time. Example, I've never been here before. 2. Completed the actions from a past point in time to now. Example, we've just eaten. Number 3. Unfinished past. Actions or states that begin in the past and continue until now. Example, she's had 3 dates since she started speed dating. So, she's had contraction of she has had, right? I'm talking about a situation that started in the past and continues up to the moment. Yes, no questions. Using the present perfect tense, you just invert the order. The verb have or has comes before the subject. Examples. Have you ever been on a meetup? Yes, I have, or no, I haven't. Have they ever broken up before? You can say yes, they have, or no, they haven't. Has she ever lost her cell phone? Yes, she has, or no, she hasn't. For short answers, do not contract the subject with the auxiliary. Example, yes, I have, nor yes, I've, right? Now, listen to the second part of the conversation between Carlos and Jenny and number the photos here from numbers 1 to 7 according to what they mention, right? And then tell me, what things do Carlos and Jenny have in common or they don't have in common? Let's check.
How long have you lived here? Do you have a favorite part of town?
Ah, that's a difficult one. I've only been here for 2 months, so it's difficult to say. I love the square. What's it called? Queen Square. It's really pretty.
Yes, there are some really nice bars and shops there. I'm going there tomorrow evening, actually. I'm meeting some friends for coffee. You're welcome to join us if you like. Anyway, your turn.
Ah, thanks. That's really nice of you. So, tell me about your friends. Who do you spend the most time with?
Well, I'm working so much at the moment, I spend most of my time with my cats. I've got 3.
3 cats? I have to admit, I'm more a dog person. I prefer dogs to cats.
Well, I like dogs too, but cats are easier to take care of.
True.
My turn. What about your parents? Who are you closer to, your mom or your dad?
Mom, definitely. I haven't had any contact with my dad in years. I don't want to talk about that, if you don't mind.
Oh, I'm sorry. Of course not.
No need for you to be sorry. So, what are you doing this weekend?
This weekend, I'm visiting a friend for her birthday.
That sounds like fun.
It will be. Okay, my turn. What celebrity would you enjoy having dinner with?
Let me think. I'd have to say Emma Stone.
Oh, me too. She's the best. I've seen all of her movies.
Really? Isn't she fantastic? So, speaking of movies, what was the last movie that made you cry?
That's a good question. Well, probably A Street Cat Named Bob. You know I love cats, and that cat was just amazing.
No way! I cried like a baby watching that one too.
What's the first thing you do every morning?
That's easy. I throw my alarm clock on the floor. I hate the noise it makes.
I see. Not a morning person, then. I love early mornings. It's the best time of day. Carlos, here's another question. What's the one thing you're most afraid of?
Promise you won't laugh? The dark.
The dark? Oh, that's kind of cute.
You think so?
Look at you! You're turning red! Are you a little bit embarrassed?
So, as Carlos and Jenny have been getting to know each other, they're asking questions now in the meetup, right? And talking about these pictures, what things do Carlos and Jenny have in common or they don't have in common? Do you remember? And let's enumerate the pictures here according to the conversation. So the similarities, both like dogs, and they both cried watching a street cat named Bob, the name of the movie, right? And the things they don't have in common is the first one, Jane is more of a cat person and Carlos is more of a dog person. Remember that Jenny has 3 cats, right? And Carlos isn't a morning person, but Jenny loves early mornings. Remember that? The first thing they mention according to the picture is the square, Queen's Square, the place here, right? With nice bars and shops. The second one they talk about is the moment that they mention the cats, right? So she says that she is more a cat person, whereas the boy prefers dogs, right? So the cat is number 2. Then we have the next one. They talk about the movie, right? And both cried a lot when they watched the movie A Street Cat Named Bob. The next one is when the guy mentions he throws the alarm clock on the floor because he's not a morning person, right? He hates the noise the alarm clock makes. And then we have the guy talking about something that he's afraid of. He is most afraid of the dark, right? Now let's practice a little. Complete here the sentences using the correct form of the verbs. The verbs to be, twice, go, love, have in the negative form, prefer, throw, turn, and want in the negative form, right? So do the exercise and complete by using these verbs. So here are the answers. Number 1, we use the present perfect tense. I've only been, contraction by have. I have only been. Using present perfect because you don't mention the time. You say here for 2 months, but you don't mention the exact time, right? So you say, I've only been here for 2 months, so it's difficult to say. Number 2, you're talking about tomorrow evening, so we use the present continuous describing the future. So you say, I'm going there tomorrow evening actually, right? Number 3, we use the verb prefer in the simple present tense to talk about a state. I prefer dogs to cats, right? Number 4, you're talking about in years. In years, it doesn't mean that you don't mention the time here. So you say, I haven't had any contact with my dad in years. For a long time, you haven't had any contact with my dad, right? You say, I don't want to talk about that if you don't mind. Simple present tense in the negative form. I don't want. Number 5, you say, that's easy. I throw my alarm clock on the floor. I hate the noise it makes. I throw simple present tense. Number 6, you say, I love early mornings. It's the best time of day. You're talking about routine habits that you love early mornings, right? Simple present tense. Number 7, what's the one thing you are most afraid of? You are simple present tense of the verb to be, right? And the last one, you say, look at you. You're turning red. Are you a little bit embarrassed? I say you're turning red because I'm talking about a situation that is happening in the moment. Present continuous tense to describe now, the moment, right? Did you get it? Pay attention to the common mistakes that we do a lot. You say, I'm not knowing many people here. This is not correct. The correction is, I don't know many people here. We don't use the verb know in the ing when we talk about a state verb, right? The question, you don't say, are you understanding? No. We use the simple present tense. Do you understand? And in the past, don't use the verb know in the question here because you're talking about meeting a person, not knowing a person. That's a difference, right? So you say, how did you meet your partner? So how did you make a good relationship with him? Okay, how did you get to know him? So how did you meet your partner? Not know. Did you get it? In this part of unit, we're describing some situations about life experiences a couple has, right? So the first one is they get to know, they meet. So let's understand how to describe each of these situations. So here we have some phrasal verbs that we may use to describe these situations in the pictures, right? We have be attracted to someone, fall out with someone, get along well, get back together, get to know someone, and break up. Let's identify the pictures according to the sentences here. So we have number 1, they are attracted to each other, right? So be attracted to someone, to get in passion, right? And number 2, they get along well. They start getting to know each other better, right? Number 3, take a look. They get to know someone, so they get to know each other well. They go out for a party, they have a dinner together, right? Number 4, take a look. They fall out with someone, right? Number 5, they break up. And number 6, they get back together. All right?
I first met Adam 2 years ago. I used to walk my dog in the park next to my house, and he was always there walking his dog too. We just used to smile and say hello. Anyway, I was attracted to him immediately. He has this really beautiful smile, and one morning the dogs started playing together, and he said something lame about the weather or something, and we started chatting, and we got along really well, so we swapped numbers. Then we went out together a few times, you know, just for coffee and stuff. I thought he was funny and charming and interesting. We started hanging out a lot more, going to restaurants and meeting each other's friends. We talked about everything and got to know each other really well. Things were great for about the first 6 months, and then, it was little things at first. I was working a lot at the time, and he couldn't understand why we weren't spending as much time together. We argued a lot and fell out over stupid things like not returning each other's messages. It just wasn't working, and eventually we broke up. I got so angry with him that he couldn't understand how important my career was to me. We were both really upset. After a few more months, I started to miss him. So I called, and we talked about stuff. He promised to be more understanding, and I promised to make more time for him. Then we got back together. I think I've fallen for him again. How weird is that? But who knows what our future will bring?
Pay attention to the common mistakes. We generally say, I instantly felt in love to him. This is not correct. The correct form is, I instantly fell in love with him. So the verb is fall in love with someone, right? When you really know what you feel about a person is love, passion, right? And the next one, Jack isn't married to Tina. So you don't say with, you say to. Alright? When we talk about relationships, do you usually pay attention to celebrities' lives about love? This is an article that a lot of people love reading. It's celebrity gossip article, right? And can you identify the couples? We have letter A, B, and C, D, E, and F. You're going to identify these couples, number 1, 2, and 3. Who are they? You're going to match the photos to the text, right? Do you like these people here? Do you enjoy celebrity gossip? What is gossip? When you talk about someone's life, right? And then you spread sometimes fake news, sometimes the real thing, right? Let's check.
Famous exes. 1. This couple broke up in 2017 after 7 years of marriage. They originally fell for each other when they were working on the same movie. Their divorce came as a shock to fans who believed they had the perfect marriage. However, she recently admitted that the image they showed on social media wasn't real. 2. They have known each other since they were very young. They met when they worked on the Mickey Mouse Club together and used to hang out. They dated for a long time before they broke up. Some people say they fell out over her relationship with her choreographer. 3. This couple met when they both starred in the movie Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Their relationship became public after he broke up with his first wife. He moved in with her and her children soon after. They have 6 children. They say they began to drift apart and eventually got divorced in 2016.
So let's check the answers. Number 1 is letter C, Anna Faris, and letter D, Chris Pratt. So this couple broke up in 2017 after 7 years of marriage. Too bad, yeah? Their divorce came as a shock to the people, right? And number 2, it is about letter A, Britney Spears, and letter F, Justin Timberlake. So they dated for a long time before they broke up. But some people say they fell out over their relationship with her choreographer. A scandal, right? What about the last one? They both starred in the movie Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and everybody knows it's the famous ex-couple, Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, letter B and letter E. Unfortunately, they got divorced in 2016, right? Pay attention to the verbs here. Broke up, past tense of break up. Fell, past tense of fall, right? And then we have divorce, admit, hang out, fell out, move it in, and drift apart, right? Past tense of get, got, divorced. Take a look. These verbs talk about relationships, and let's pay attention to the meaning of each of them. Let's understand the definition for the sentences from the exercise C. So pay attention to the phrasal verbs that we use to talk about relationships. Number one, fall out with someone or fall out over something. That means have an argument or fight. Number two, it is hang out with someone. It means to spend time together. Number three, it's move in. Moving together or moving with someone, it means to start living in the same place. Number four, you say drift apart from someone. It means become emotionally distant when you drift apart, right? And number five, fall for. Fall for something. That means fall in love with someone. Number five, fall for someone. It means fall in love with someone. Alright? And the last one, number six, it is break up with someone. That means to end a relationship. Right? Let's practice doing the exercise using the phrasal verbs you are learning. Number one, how do you complete the sentences with the phrasal verbs from exercise E? Remember, exercise E, we learned about fall out, hang out, move in. Fall out means have an argument or a fight. Hang out with someone, spend time together. Move in together or move in with someone, start to live in the same place. 4. Drift apart, that means become emotionally distant from someone. Fall for someone, the same as fall in love with someone, and break up with someone, it is the same to say to end a relationship, right? So complete with these verbs. Number one, my best friend and I started to when we went to different colleges. So what happened to this relationship? Number two, do you want to this weekend? We could go to the movies. 3. After 2 years of dating, my parents decided to together. That was 20 years ago. 4. My brother and I with each other over a stupid argument about money. And number 5. I with my boyfriend because he hated my dog. Loved me, loved my dog. So how do you complete? Let's check the answers. Number 1. My best friend and I started to drift apart. So we became emotionally distant, right? When we went to different colleges. We stopped talking, right? Number 2, I'm asking you if you want to hang out this weekend. You can go to the movies, right? Hang out means do nothing with people you like, right? Enjoying the time together. Number 3, after 2 years of dating, my parents decided to move in together. So 2 years dating, they made a decision to live together, to move in together, right? Number 4, my brother and I fell out with each other over a stupid argument about money, so we had a fight. And number 5, I broke up with my boyfriend. I ended a relationship with him because he hated my dog. And if he doesn't love my dog, he doesn't love me. That's what I think, right? Pay attention to some common mistakes people usually make. You say, my son split up with his first girlfriend. You never use terminated, no. And they distance themselves after a discussion. No way. The correct form is they drift apart after an argument or after a fight, right? Discussion is when you talk about something, not fighting, right? In this exercise, you have 5 sentences. You're going to think about how you would complete it, right? Number 1, if you fall out with someone you love, you should. Number 2, I like to hang out with people who. 3, I'd never fall for someone who. 4, in my opinion, couples drift apart if they. And number 5, before you move in with someone, I think it's really important to take a look at the example. I'd never fall for someone who likes pop music. I can't stand it. What about you? How would you answer these questions? So please think about them. In the next live, we're going to discuss about them and you're going to tell me your ideas, right? Continue talking about relationships. Let's talk about what is a lasting relationship. How long have you boyfriend or girlfriend, or how long have your parents been together? Is their relationship a lasting one? And which things are the ones very important that you should consider? What is the most important thing for a great relationship to last forever? We have some ideas like facing life's ups and downs, being flexible, communication, physical attraction, shared interests, solving problems quickly. So you're gonna listen to a video and you're gonna watch 3 couples who have been together for over 4 years. And check the items here they consider the most important ones, right?
I think be realistic, that our expectations sometimes are so high, but most of marriage is lived in between the ups and the downs, and that it's hard work, and not all the time, but it is hard work.
I think one of the pieces of advice that my dad gave me is, Gene, always communicate, always talk things out. And I really believe that communication is so essential, and that you need to work out many different areas before you get married. I think you need to talk about money matters. I think you need to talk about child rearing. I think religion is important. I think sex takes care of itself, pretty much, at least initially. But I really do think that there are some topics, there's some areas that need to be hashed out. Otherwise, it's conflict.
You can't learn to give more than you take, and you won't ever make it. And that's the bottom line.
And you need to, grow together in what you do. Try new things. Go out and start skiing if you haven't done it. Do it as a couple. Do things together, or as a family if you have a family. I think those are important things to, don't you have your own hobbies and your husband or spouse have their own hobbies. That's not a real good way.
Well, every time, if you have a disagreement or a problem, you correct it before you go to bed, and then you never wake up and with a carryover. And that has, to me, always been good advice. I'm not sure that Kay and I have always followed that, but well, most of the time we have.
And then I'd have to say those who play together stay together, instead of going your own separate ways and doing your own things.
So the answers are facing ups and downs, being flexible, the first one, right? The second one, communication and shared interests. And the last one, remember the man saying that you should solve the problems before getting to bed? So, and the last one, the man saying that they should solve the problems before going to bed. So solving problems quickly, right?
I think be realistic that our expectations sometimes are so high, but most of marriage is lived in between the ups and the downs, and that it's hard work. And not all the time, but it's hard work.
I think one of the pieces of advice that my dad gave me is, Gene, always communicate, always talk things out. And I really believe that communication is so essential, and that you need to work out many different areas before you get married. I think you need to talk about money matters. I think you need to talk about child rearing. I think religion is important. But I really do think there are some topics or some areas that need to be hashed out. Otherwise, it's conflict.
You gotta learn to give more than you take, or you'll never make it. And that's the bottom line.
And you need to, grow together. In what you do. Try new things, Go out and start skiing if you haven't done it. Do it as a couple. Do things together, or as a family if you have a family. I think those are important things too. Don't have your own hobbies and your husband or spouse have their own hobbies. That's not a real good way.
Every time, if you have a disagreement or a problem, you correct it before you go to bed. And then you never wake up and with a carryover. And that has, to me, always been good advice. I'm not sure that Kay and I have always followed that, but, most of the time we have.
I'd have to say those who play together stay together, instead of going your own separate ways and doing your own things.
What about you? What can you say? What can you see? What can you recognize in your family's relationship? What makes them being together for so long? So think about a couple that you know. It can be a couple in your family, a famous couple. How did they meet? How long were they, or how long have they been together? The example that we have here is Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez. Justin Bieber met Selena Gomez in 2009 after his manager called her mom to arrange a meeting. They dated on and off for years, but they finally broke up in 2018. So do you know a couple that has been together up to the moment? What can you say about their relationship, and what makes the relationship strong. What, in your opinion, a couple should do to have a great relationship?